not a Section 8 project. I know I've got phone calls and emails about that. So here's where we are. I worked on this site, down the street on Rapids Hallway, where Cons was for Colson family. That was retail that also couldn't be leased, and now you've got multifamily there. Only multifamily, no retail or office, just multifamily. Here's another one that I worked on for months, where I guess this is a shoe store, where we cut it in half literally. There's a little bit of retail, and that allowed for in-and-out burgers. So we again reduced the amount of retail that was there. And here's one that Trent, this is Odin out of Austin is doing, the old office supply store. It's also becoming multifamily as opposed to retail. So the answer to this is, I think a lot of this, you know this probably by your own shopping patterns. One, you buy more things online. Two, shop less often. And three, there's a lot of retail leakage from this part of the city of Dallas to non-city Dallas, whether it's Richardson or whether it's Plano or Frisco. And that's likely not to change. The reason that we've done a number of these converting retail to non-retail uses is every city, older city in America has too much retail. All the first ring suburbs, Garland, and Richardson, and those cities are trying to pare their retail.
Speak louder!
Go shush. Just say you got it because they're speaking.
And this is a brief list. This doesn't include the facades. He spent $500 million in investment in
renovated.
He also had 3 different super good, very competitive brokerage companies on there. The only way these guys get paid, and girls, is if they lease, if people lease the space. Herb Weitzman owns and operates and leases the most space in the state of Texas. Retail Connection is a big player. All 3 of these firms say that it just is not leasable as the kind of things that when Ms. Grayson came back into office now a number of years ago, we did some these guys did some sampling, Weitzman did, about who are the people that you'd like to have? And it was a normal list of desirable people. Name store,
close the door.
And unfortunately, those people just aren't interested in this site. And so, I think here's a question that I had earlier. The site is zoned CR. There's really 3 different zoning categories in the city of Dallas. There's regional retail, like North Park Mall, or places that are regional shopping locations. CR is kind of in the middle, and NS, Neighborhood Services, is the smallest one. That's what this site has a demand for, our neighborhood services. The shoe repair guy, dry cleaner, yoga, neighborhood services. This is no longer, even in the middle, a destination retail place. This is where all of you come and would like to go because it's close to your place. ETs would not go here because they want to be in more of a regional hub. That's the problem. This once was a regional or nearly regional location in the 1970s and 80s and maybe almost into the 90s. But that's just changed over time. Here's what
because he manipulated.
Here's that list of people. This is who the brokers say are interested in the site today. This is not who my client wants to lease to. We've got a dollar.
Keep it that way. We want it.
That way.
We want it.
So these are the current people who are interested to a point of they've provided a letter of intent, they've shown credit. These are the sort of people who are interested in the site. They're also not necessarily the kind of people that landlords like to lease to if they don't have lots of years of experience and great credit. But they'll take the space. We'll do all the questions at the end. I'll let you go. Sure, that's right. Yeah.
That's not a really good argument to me. I'll let you finish.
Okay, fine. Well, the problem is if we had, people that were interested in the site. This is just who's interested in the site at this point, according to the brokers. And we've not leased to them because, one, it'd be bad for us because we're tied to this
Not least.
for some period of time.
He has money coming in, and that's offered, and he's not.
You know, that's $1 million investment. They're not going to want to sign a lease that has a relocation. Whereas some tenants would, as long as you pay for their improvements or out of pocket, then they're willing to be relocated. That's not that uncommon. Okay, so this is what our brokers say are the problems with the site. You know, and most of these are backed up either by an ESRI report or the census, that you have an aging population in this core area.
Young families.
Lots of young families coming in. Sorry.
I recognize that there is some turnover starting to happen. Guys, you know, we're welcome to disagree. I'm happy to show you the numbers. Statistically, in a city where most of the fastest growing places that people in their 20s and 30s is the largest growing segment, in this micro area, it's 40 and more that's growing faster. That's not to say that you have houses where people that are in their 60s or 70s are not selling and being replaced by young families with children. Just statistically, that's not as large a number. Okay, so.
Show us the numbers. Send them out in an email.
So,
Show us the
you
numbers.
know, unlike
Yes.
this has got a low daytime population. People that work here, that live here, there's not a lot of office buildings here. Is what that is. It's not, you know, this isn't Preston Center. This is not a, you know, it just is what it is. It doesn't clearly
He's talking to the owner, not to
tenants. You know, the tenants are the ones saying that. Ones who you know, the people don't want to pay for the remodel, so that's, you know.
Sorry.
We'd rather have the remodel than what he's promoting.
Close the door. Close the door.
Retail is just dying. When I started in this industry, you know, probably 20% of our work statewide is retail. Now
Close the door.
so there's just aren't a lot of retail zoning. Can you get those people? You know, all these people are out of business. They're not leasing spaces. There's more people closing stores. Small stores that are being closed. Look at the Wall Street Journal. Look at the morning news. Almost every day or every other day, there's a story about how retail is changing. I mean, I know my family now at Christmas, we're 3/4 online purchases.
You bought it.
One
You made the choice.
You know, here's an old wall.
It's like, oh yeah. It was nothing more than an investment to make money.
I mean, it's tiny. I can remember when our little firm would work on 2 targets in a year. Now Target will do 2 targets in the entire country in a year. Even in Texas, it hadn't changed. So here's a, you know, look at general merchandise stores. You know, almost, you know, they're in decline. The only retailer that's doing well are online retailers. Here's just some, you know, stories that you've probably seen. This is a very interesting study. Our sister company is a 50-year-old alcohol permitting company, and they shared this with me, that this year we'll have more restaurant closings than even in the heart of the recession. A record number of restaurant closings will occur this year. Now, yeah, that's it.
That's a little can I just make a point? That's a little misleading. The reason that there's more restaurant closures is restaurant dollars in an area stay about the same. So what happens is long as
So, here's one of the slides that I want to walk you guys through, because if we have 2 choices, then I know this is something that your council person, your planning commissioner has suggested, is this is a good site for townhomes. So I've gone and met with 3 or 4 or 5 of our townhome clients. Some are publicly traded, some are not. One of the problems is it's too big a site for them. With 11 acres, that's just, let's say it's TH3 zoning, which you would at least need to sell it at. You're at 135 townhomes. That takes a long time to sell through all those. It's just a larger number of townhomes that, like David Weekley's doing something at the Lake Highlands Town Center, and it's only 60 there. Now they're doing ones in other pockets. You see a lot of 16 and 32 and 40 where there are infill. This isn't just a little drop-in infill site. It's too large. You've got 2 bad axes. You've got the gas station on one side. You've got the back of the grocery store, and then you've got Arapahoe. Plus, from the beginning when we look, our adjacencies are multifamily. So if I'm a townhome person, that's a negative for them as well, is that they're adjacent to non-single family zoning. So the biggest problem though is the land value is greater than you would sell for a retail price. I recognize that's arbitrary. He could sell, what's that? Let's wait when we talk about the multifamily about why it might be a multifamily site. So he's not going to sell $4 a foot or $5 or a number that makes townhome work. Because, like I said, the return on people who will take it where it is and as is better. That's not what he wants to do. He's not in the business.
Close the door.
Close the door.
So that's why we didn't file a zoning case. We just want people to know what the choices are. You don't have to like them, and you don't necessarily
no
like me
choice.
or my client. But it's just the reality of where we are, and we're sort of all in it together. He's your neighbor because he owns the property and can afford to carry it, and he owns it free and clear. So,
He's not our neighbor. He lives outside of the state. He is not our neighbor.
Hey, it's okay.
He's not our neighbor.
if we only had property owned by Dallas folks, we wouldn't have nearly as robust economy.
Well, don't call him our neighbor. That's fine. We're cool. Just be honest.
So, let's talk a little bit about multifamily, because I drove by Prestonwood Trail
Don't call them
Apartments.
a
I know
neighbor.
people don't like aging apartments, and if you leave and still don't like apartments, that's fine, but I'm gonna try and provide a little bit of education about, who's in apartments, and that maybe you're afraid of what's there already.
Very condescending.
So,
Please let him speak. We're here to listen to him.
That's all right. That's all
common things
right.
I hear,
When do you hear you?
I'm happy to provide these to you too if you really want them. That value is based on the quality of something, not necessarily the use. If you look at some of the best areas in the region, they have a significant amount of multifamily because they have a huge investment. We would do a mixed-use project that's $50 million. I mean, that's a very large investment. It would have a multifamily component, obviously. It also have a retail component. So, there's just no correlation other than anecdotal. Here's a good example, and I'd love for people to go and look at this. We did this when